Hi, beloveds. Welcome. I've got a mouthful to share with you all today. A lot on my mind about integrity. I was thinking and I took some notes to make sure that I don't forget anything. It was just all coming out. So, just a heads up, I've got a lot to share today. So, when I think about the top three leadership qualities that I feel are most important, and I've been in the leadership development field for a long time. I've taught in leadership programs. I've done all kinds of assessments. I've got a lot of background in leadership growth and development. And the top, I have these top three leadership qualities that I think are just critical. One of them is integrity. Integrity is huge. And integrity is about, it's a practice. It's the doing and being of all things honesty, all things ethics. And I think that it is one of the qualities that we should look for in leaders. When we're looking for leaders, we should be looking for integrity. When we're trying to grow and develop leaders, we should be growing and developing the competency of integrity for our folks. Another thing is, research shows that integrity as a competency is really a blind spot for a lot of organizations. So when organizations, whatever, whether it's nonprofit or for-profit, whatever, when they're hiring leaders or looking to grow their leaders, they're not really assessing integrity. They're looking at, the person's credentials and their experience and the references, who likes them, who doesn't like them, but they're not really looking at those indicators that would show, what level of integrity they have. And that's a mistake. That's a blind spot. We need to be looking for integrity when we're looking to grow our leaders and looking for leaders to bring into our organizations. Okay, so it's often a blind spot. And I totally believe that. If you just look at our world, who runs our world and what our world does to people, those in power often lack integrity. You can just see from their actions. We see it in the media, in the news. We can just see this just disgusting and blatant lack of integrity that our leaders have. And so, I believe that it is a blind spot and it's something that we need to work on. So in any case, integrity is showing, demonstrating, doing, and just having this consistent and unwavering moral and ethic about us. It's just non-compromising, uncompromising, and it's about just doing the right thing when no one is looking. That is integrity. Integrity, or people with integrity, they work when they're on the clock. So, we're working from home and no one's watching us. You're working. When no one's watching you. When you're on the clock, you're working. They don't steal office supplies. People with integrity, they don't accept kudos from work they didn't do. They don't steal other people's ideas. They don't take people's ideas as their own. It's nice and windy today. Do you hear my notes crinkling? Think about where you get your morals and ethics. Where did you get your perspective on what it means to be ethical? Think about that. Maybe you grew up seeing a certain activity and in an environment, in your primary social group, seeing that a certain activity was seen as ethical. And then as an adult, you realized, actually, that wasn't right. I grew up learning something was ethical when it was not. So, that's an example. So think about where you get your morals from. And did you have to switch gears when you found out that what you thought was ethical and moral ended up not being so ethical or moral? So think about that. It's clear that having integrity is difficult. It's hard. Many people fail. And sometimes I feel like people with integrity are few. There's few. It takes effort. It takes deep grounding. It takes a lot of energy to have a high level of integrity. If you look at a scale from like 1 to 10, when you get into that 7, 8, 9, 10, it takes a lot of energy. And I think a part of that is because society, the world we live in, it rewards liars. It often rewards the unkind. It rewards oftentimes those who oppress people. And so it takes extra energy to have integrity because the world is pushing against our desire to have integrity because, again, it rewards people who are often unkind and things like that. So it's one of those traits that is really tricky in this sense. Another thing to think about, I want to mention, let me take a look here. Okay, let's just get to, day to day. Okay, I've said all this stuff about integrity, all right, what the research shows, how I feel about it, why it's important. Now, let's just look and think quickly about what does it look like in real life? How can we apply and grow our integrity? Because there's different levels of integrity. Again, you can from a scale to 1 to 10, and our integrity changes. And so it takes effort rather to keep it at a high level. And once you get it at that high level, you have to protect that, okay? So people with integrity, they stand up for what they believe in, and they value other people's time. They don't gossip. They don't take advantage of people. Okay, when you have high integrity, you are not taking advantage of people. You don't argue when you disagree with something or someone. Think about that. People with integrity don't argue about something they disagree with. You can disagree with something. That's okay. It doesn't mean you have to make it into an argument. People with integrity know how to deal with a situation where they disagree, but they can do so without arguing. Isn't that neat? Don't we sometimes feel that if we disagree with something, we have to argue about it and make it into this big thing? It doesn't have to be that way. People who have high integrity, they give credit where it's due. They choose honesty in all things, even when it's hard, because as I said before, it often is. People with high integrity, they don't allow those that have low integrity to have undue influence on them, right? This is huge. I talked a little bit about, once you get that high level of competency and integrity, you got to protect that. You got to protect that for real, because it can be taken away so quickly. So people that have really high levels of integrity, 8, 9, 10 level, really solid, rock solid integrity and ethics, they're very wary about people who have low integrity. They don't necessarily want to be around them. If they are going to be around them, they're going to protect. They're going to put up their shield, their super person integrity shield, and protect themselves because they know that these energies can transfer. They know that, influence can happen, and they want to protect their integrity that they worked so hard for, that they have a consistent record of. So oftentimes they don't want to be associated with people with low integrity. They don't want to be around them. They want to have a safe space, spiritually or physically or both. So people with high integrity don't allow for undue influence to get them to the dark side. As a matter of fact, people with high integrity want to see more people on the side of the light. And by that, I mean by the side that has a lot of integrity, okay? So you protect the integrity you work so hard for. Also, because people that have really high integrity, again, I'm talking about level 8, 9, 10 level integrity, very high level, they are truth seekers. They are truth tellers. And because they seek the truth, because they seek honesty in all things, they have this intuition about them. Their integrity is so strong that they can tell when someone's, not having a good day. They can look at someone and feel the energy, and they have a sense of that. You know what? Something's not right. Something is bothering this person. People with high integrity can tell when something is bothering someone, and because they are truth tellers and truth seekers, they don't ignore it. Their instinct is to say, oh, something is out of order. Unlike many people with, let's say, low integrity, when they see something that's kind of not good, or someone, if they see something is bothering someone, they're more apt to ignore it. I don't have time for that. I don't want to deal with that. That's their problem. Let's just keep it moving. People with integrity will name it. They will not call someone out. They will call someone in. Say, hey, I'm observing, I'm believing that maybe something's not right here. Let's find the truth. Can you explain to me what's going on? And what I'm thinking or feeling, is that true? So they engage in that truth seeking and truth telling, okay? They call it out. They don't just ignore it. If there's an elephant in the room, someone with integrity is going to be the one to name it, like, hey, there's this issue here, because they are truth seekers and truth tellers, okay? Now, oops, my camera, sorry. Now, as we kind of end this, I've said all of that, right? I told you I had a mouthful today. I want to mention, okay, we did all that. And so now, how do you know what your level of integrity is? I talked a couple times about scale of 1 to 10, right? The question that I use when I'm working with my clients and helping people to grow this leadership competency, when I'm developing leaders, I ask them the question. I say, how do you respond when you see others lacking integrity? How do you respond when you see others lacking integrity? The answer to that question is going to give you a pretty good idea. It's not an end all and be all, but it'll give you a pretty good idea of what your own level of competency is in terms of integrity. All right? I'm outside and it's warm and there are little bugs flying around. That's all good. So, think about that. When you observe someone or some organization or whatever lacking in integrity, how do you respond? And this is a good indicator because people with very high levels of integrity, they are much less likely to let it slide. Remember, they are truth tellers, truth seekers. They don't tolerate lack of integrity very well. They will name it, okay? So someone with high integrity, if they're a teacher and they see a child coming into school, into their classroom with bruises and all beaten up, they're not going to be like, I don't have time for that. You know, regardless of what the school policy is to tell, there are some teachers that don't tell. Someone with very high integrity is going to be like, nope, I see this. I see you, to that child, and they will take action to move a process forward to get healing. Someone with high integrity, if they notice that a colleague is making less money than them, and they make more and are doing the exact same thing, these are the type of people who will go to that colleague and say, hey, you're being underpaid. And you know what? Calling these things out doesn't really help the person with integrity. As a matter of fact, it could cause them to get retaliated against, to put themselves at risk in many ways. But this, again, is about integrity, honesty, and ethics. So people with high integrity will go out of their way to be truthful and show and demonstrate ethics for the benefit of other people, even if it may put themselves at risk. Okay? So think about people who do the right thing. Okay? Martin Luther King Jr., Jesus, Mother Teresa, Gandhi. I'm just naming a few, and I got to tell you, some of us may think those are leaders, and every single one of them is not without criticism. People criticize Mother Teresa. Look it up. She was not, an angel to everyone. She was harshly criticized for her work. Martin Luther King Jr., Jesus, died for their work. They put themselves out there. They had high integrity, and they didn't just stand aside to see abuses and people being oppressed. And if you look at Dan Price, he's a CEO. He pays his employees a living wage. I've spoken about him before. I'm a fan of his because of how he treats people and his workers. He got a lot of criticism and continues to get a lot of criticism because people look at him and see how well he treats his people, see his ethics, and some corporations who are oppressing and abusing people at work and mistreating them look at Dan Price and say, we don't want him to be a model for this, so we need to get rid of him, because people will see him and know that you can still make money helping people and being ethical, and they don't want people to believe that. Our society wants people to think that one of the only ways you can be successful and make money is by exploiting and hurting people, and that is not true. It is not true. And when we have models that show us that that is a lie, people want to get those models away, and that's what's happening to Dan Price. So, ooh, that's a big bug bee there, yellow jacket or something. So, doing the right thing matters, and it's not all unicorns and rainbows. So I'm telling you, having high integrity, it doesn't, it's a tricky leadership quality. It's very important, but it doesn't come without some responsibility and some challenges in itself. But at the end of the day, I just feel that you don't go wrong doing the right thing. I just feel that, I believe that. And think about this for your own ethics. How much are you willing to put yourself out there to do the right thing? And that's a part of what integrity is about. There's this meme that says, it's a meme, social media meme I've seen a lot. It says, if a few monkeys hoarded almost all of the bananas, all of our scientists and veterinarians and all that would be researching like, what in the world is wrong with those monkeys, right? But in our society, so those monkeys, they hoard all the bananas and they let the other monkeys starve. So of course we'd be wondering like, what is wrong with those monkeys? But when we do it in our society, when we hoard stuff and let the majority of people starve, we put those people on the cover of magazines and say, oh, you're so great for hoarding everything and letting the rest of the folks, just starve and be in terrible positions. And so it's just really sad and disgusting, and that's the kind of work that I'm trying to do work to help stop that, to mitigate that. And the more leaders we have with high integrity, the more we can get rid of those kind of things. We can get people in power and people that have positions of authority and influence that can spread high integrity so that everyone can feel valued, everyone can feel appreciated and not taken advantage of, and that we can trust each other, and we can do right and do the right thing. All right, you all, so take care. I told you I had a mouthful today, didn't I? I told you. All right, so take care, and I would love to hear your comments and all that good stuff. See you next time. Bye-bye.